Welcome to Reseller Recap, where we talk all things reselling across multiple platforms. Join us for real-life discussions on how we crush the elusive work-life balance. Grab a coffee and join us now.
Hi guys, welcome back to Reseller Recap. We are going to pick up this week with part 2 of our interview with Yoda, the founder of Threecolts. We'll start it now.
And then now when something new rolls out, they're like, hey, can you try this out for me and see this or see that? And it just makes a difference because now you get to add your feedback into something that you're going to be using every day. So I'm always like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. A lot of softwares hate me. I'm going to be real honest. Because I'm like, hey, this doesn't work how you're trying to get it to work. Like, also, I think you should try this. I think you should try that. And I think some companies, like, they're just like, this is what it is and deal with it or don't. And so I'm like, okay, but it doesn't work.
You want me as a customer or not, you know?
I am willing to take on the full challenge, Morgan. And so you let us know exactly what you need, what you think needs to change. Yeah, we are up for the challenge.
Love it. Love it. You guys heard it here first.
I know.
That's right.
I know. I want to take that. So what do you think you started this 4 years ago. What do you think the biggest change has been in the last 4 years for sellers has been, in your opinion? I'm curious.
The last 4 years is a funny 4 years to pick out in context of history, right? I mean, Morgan, you said 2015. Jen, you said, 2016? Before 2020, I think selling was actually quite, I wouldn't say it was simple because there were some complexities to it, but in general it was a lot more predictable. And then since 2021 and COVID, after the big spike, then you had lockdowns. You couldn't get inventory every time. So there was a two-part problem. Private label sellers no longer had inventory. They couldn't ship inventory in because all the container costs went from 2,000 to 20,000. The resellers, all of a sudden their inventory turned into gold because there was, all you had to do was be available and you could sell and boom, it's sold, right? Yeah. And then afterwards you had like political turmoil, then the war, then somehow like the Suez Canal was blocked off because some boat was stuck there. Yeah. And then now this whole like tariff thing that creates a lot more unpredictability. And then sprinkle in the LA ports that go on strike every like year or two. Yeah. Right. And so it's just like, somehow we've become more unpredictable in this world and trying to maneuver through it. And I think one of the things that's become very clear for, I think, every seller, and this is whether you're private label, you're a large enterprise brand, or you're a reseller, is that in order for us or the seller base to be confident in their future, let's say if you're trying to build something for a side income or retirement or whatever it is, in order to be confident that that will still be there, everyone must diversify. And that is not what people were thinking 2 years ago or 4 years ago. Yeah. And I think the diversification of income, of SKUs, of ASINs, of everything has become so paramount for that future that everyone wants to build for themselves because of the unpredictability. And to some degree, it's good, right? Because once the platforms start having to compete with each other, their service quality will need to go up. What Amazon is doing right now is a short-term thing. As soon as Walmart or Target, or I don't care, whoever catches up, they will need to bend. And you saw this as soon as like Shein and Temu started flying out the door, Amazon had to compete on rates for soft lines. All of a sudden, the soft lines categories fees didn't go up as much as hard lines or some of the other categories. And so it's very clear that like competition is good for sellers. I think at this point, we've seen in the maybe like the last year or two, the worst of what a seller would ever experience, before I think there's enough competition that it rebalances it and makes it a little bit better for sellers to create a confident income.
Yeah. 1,000. That's what we were shouting from the rooftops. Like people were dragging their feet on opening Walmart. And I'm like, you guys, I did like double on Walmart that I did on Amazon. And it's funny because now everybody flooded over to Walmart. And then this year I'm like, guess what? I'm doing double on Amazon. It was just this mass exodus because people were just sick of all the fees and kind of just not clear communication, especially when it was sending an FBA, like long-term storage and And so, I mean, I've just been playing with the numbers and stuff because you just don't know till you know. And they weren't being clear on their numbers, which made it hard for you guys to share what the numbers were. So it was just a round and round. And yeah, I'm over here like, yep, I'm FBAing on Amazon again. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, Jen has inspired me, and I'm a little bit nervous because the last time I sent in an FBA shipment was about a year ago. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been doing all merchant because so in December of 2023, when they rolled out like the low inventory fees, all those fees, nobody could even explain what it meant. Like, it was just like, oh, if you have low inventory, like, but we're RA sellers, we're always going to have low inventory. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do these long-term storage fees mean? What is the placement fees? Like, nobody could say what it meant. All we knew was that we were being charged more. And I'm like, okay, but I don't even know how to factor this into my bottom line, because if I'm looking at a product that makes me $10, but now I'm paying so many fees, am I profiting at all? Am I breaking even, or am I not making anything? Like, what does that mean? And the only way for me that I was able to know like what my bottom line was to merchant fulfill, because I knew what, I don't know where Jen just went.
Yeah.
But I knew what like my shipping, I could get a good average on what my shipping was going to be. So great. Now I know how much money I'm going to make on every single order. Whereas like I couldn't do that before. So yeah, I sent in my last September was the last time I sent in an FBA shipment. And that was my Christmas stuff and the end of my school supply stuff. And it sold really well. And I was like, okay, I kind of get the fees, but my placement fees were so high. And I'm like, I have never paid this much in shipping. And then it came out like, oh, send 5 identical boxes and you can like work around it. And then that was the workaround. And then January came and then they were like, oh, you can't do that anymore. Now do this or do that. So I was just very discouraged with Amazon, and nobody was encouraging me because nobody else knew either. I was reading stuff, I was researching, and it was just so uncertain. So Jen has done the legwork. She has figured out the secret sauce into how to get these fees a little bit lower. And so I'm like, okay, tell me one more time and maybe
Well, I have to too, because we're traveling. Like I told you, Yoda, like we're going to be gone for a whole month. This is how my family is set up, is that we take all our vacations in the summer. During the summer, slow down per se, like, so I'm not having to do all that merchant fulfilling, but I also still need to make money. So the only way to do that is to FBA or WFS. So I've got to send stuff in. I may not be making as much as I would if I was seller fulfilling, but it's something. So yeah.
So, Jen, what is in your crystal ball? What's next? What's after Walmart? Are we going back to eBay? Are we doing Target?
We've had actually a lot of conversations about eBay, Mercari, whatnot.
Yeah.
What's the other one? There's one other
Poshmark,
one.
Depop.
Yeah, Depop.
Bonanza, Depop. We talked about Target, but right now Target's invite only.
Yeah.
So that kind of
Best Buy.
Oh yeah, Best Buy. Yeah.
Best Buy. Yeah.
Best Buy, they're supposed to be kind of, I think that's soon. It's like Q3 is what they were saying at Prosper. So I know some people are kind of on the wait list for them. So I'm curious how that goes. Yeah. Target I've been watching forever, but it's still, it seems more private label than anything else. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to just keep going back and forth. The joke we have in the group is that people are just going to like burn out on Walmart again too. Like I can already kind of see it because people were going in and they were racing to the bottom. And so on any of the Walmart, like Facebook groups and stuff, you know, I'm not making any, I got my, cause I didn't know my fees, and WFS, like it's opposite on Walmart what it is on Amazon. If your price is $10 or less, you're actually paying an extra $1 in fees on Walmart. So you have to be priced at $10.01. if you're sending it into them. So people are losing so much money and they don't realize till then they, you know, got to kind of the end of the year, or they're doing their fees and their books now. Cause we're always all behind. It just kind of is what it is. You know, when you're busy selling, you're not doing your books. So I don't know. I hope it kind of runs some people away again.
Yeah.
They trickle out, and then maybe Amazon gets herself together and then people move back over there to do more. Cause I think it's a lot of the like wholesalers or people that want to be wholesalers, let me put it that way, that have kind of tanked things out on Walmart.
Which is what they did on Amazon.
To Amazon. Yeah. Like it just, and Walmart, like you said, it's a different buyer. It's a different clientele. What sells on Amazon doesn't sell on Walmart.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really a Keepa per se for Walmart. Like there's something out there that's trying, but it's just, you know, it's not Keepa. So
it's definitely harder. It's easier to be a Walmart seller, but it's harder. It takes more legwork at the same time because Amazon has 1,000,001 softwares. Like everybody has a platform to, you know, send out shipments. Everybody has a repricer. Everybody has this. Like you have options on Amazon. On Walmart, your options are about right here. Maybe they might not even have anything. And like, then it's just like
instead they don't work. Some of them times then they don't work, or it's wrong. Or
Walmart's own platform half the time doesn't even work. So like, just like put that out there. Like
like currently, so stuff you send into WFS, I realized finally yesterday that everything I sent into this one specific warehouse, they doubled my inventory. Like, and not that they said I have double there. They said, like, if I sent them 2 and I only sent it WFS, they said I have 2 I can seller fulfilled and 2 I can WFS. But you cannot, they don't separate WFS from seller fulfilled. Like they're not separate items like they are in Amazon. And this was my like box I was screaming from last conference. And so you can't edit it. Like you have to wait till the WFS sells out. And then before somebody buys it, seller fulfilled, you have to hurry, go in and zero it out. So
oh my God,
your cancellations, or you have to send the wrong thing because your cancellations hit you so hard on Walmart. Their performance metrics are ridiculous. That is also a thing I've met with them about 5,000 times, which we got them all at least on the same time stamp now. Because they were like, one thing was for 14 days, one thing was 30 days, one thing was for 7 days. And I'm like, they all need to be one set of dates, first of all. And then you need to make them more realistic goals because it's like 99% valid tracking. We have zero control over that. So when USPS, what was that? Was that January, February, Morgan?
Oh, when they were recycling the
tracking numbers.
End of January,
oh my God, they were recycling tracking numbers.
They did not delete the previous information. Nobody knew. So then it was saying it was delivered before it even left, like the seller. And customers are freaking out. Walmart's just refunding everybody. Everybody's valid tracking went to like 50, 60%. People were getting shut down. Suspended. It was, and then I literally had just got off a call with them about performance stuff and said, hey, when something like this happens to like everybody across the board, you need to just freeze everybody's performance. And like give us a grace period, you know, because this, and then I was like, hi, didn't we just have a call about this? Like, and you just, I can give you names of people right now that are suspended because you didn't freeze like you promised you would.
They did eventually give a grace period, but it took them like a while to like say it. Even with the I forget the name of it, but the hurricane that happened last fall.
Oh yeah, the Florida one.
Yeah, like everybody's post office was shut down. They're like, we can't ship orders out, and their seller support literally was like, we don't care. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like it really started to affect people maybe about a week later. And then they were like, oh, well, if you're in this state or if you have orders going to this state, we'll give you it was like 2 or 3 week grace period. But it wasn't until like it hit a lot of people. And again, people open cases. That's why I say open cases. That they really, everybody else initially, I had screenshots from people where like their support team was like, oh, well, like figure it out. And I'm like, these people,
you guys, like that's incredible that they don't really think about. And this is the thing with big organizations, right? Is that they don't have boots on ground to react super quickly.
Yeah.
Are you guys selling mostly self-fulfilled for both platforms then?
I
am. She does more.
I was, but as of probably about December, I'm like 60-40, 70-30 WFS and seller fulfilled on Walmart. And then Amazon, I was 100% seller fulfilled. I still am. I have to talk to Jen and she has to walk me through my FBA shipment because she found, I don't know, some way to figure out how the fees are less. So yeah.
How the fees are less.
Yeah. Like, so I did it where I did like 5 identical boxes. So if I had 50 of something, I put 10 in each box. And then I made sure they were the exact same size box. So the placement fees that were 30 cents, 10, 40 cents, like you could get it down to, like 10 cents. It was just cheaper to do when I did the math of doing the 5 identical boxes because I had enough stuff to send in. And then
if you buy in 5s, you definitely will be.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the solution moving forward. But
yeah, that. And then I had one that it was giving a weird error and I sent that as a standalone, but at least this time it gave you a breakdown of like choosing where you wanted it to ship to. Like even in Seller Center, I think you guys do in the Inventory Lab, it said like, here are your options. But it was funny because I was like, I wanted just to see what Seller Central looks like now to do a shipment. So I had it like in Inventory Lab and I had it in Seller Central because I was like, I just want to see, because it used to be like such a disaster. Like, what's it even look like now? Like, is it going to show me anything? And it was interesting because I was like, okay, they're finally like actually showing stuff. Because before it was you guys that found, like, I think of when all the back charges for shipments, which I don't ship FedEx anymore because they really royally screwed me on some stuff. I found it because of Inventory Lab, because Amazon sure was not going to tell me that they back charged me $800. So
now they have a report for that, allegedly.
You can find the report, right?
I haven't actually used the report yet, so I don't know how great it is.
You can find it.
Well, we are updating the placement option section right now. We're kind of testing out a back-end kind of integration with, so we have reimbursements software service.
Oh, nice.
That does reimbursements, and like I can share a little bit of the findings of the last 6 months, but one of the things we wanted to do was for lost inbound, we actually have a log of which FCs lose inventory the most, as well as which FCs have the worst check-in times. And so we want to be able to pull that reimbursement data in the placement option experience to have like a green bubble if the FC is good, because you'd be willing to pay $10 more if the FC receives your stuff, but then one FC just loses all of your stuff. We'll have like a bright red circle around it.
That would be like, Arizona. Like there's like 2 here in Arizona. I can tell you now. Remember, because Diana's like, I have truckloads and there's just one in Arizona. I'm like, don't you dare send it. It will never get checked in. They lost like $6,000 worth of Legos one time. Don't you do it.
Lost, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was magically found a year and a half later after I stopped them to reimburse me. Magically, they were all found.
Yeah, so we will be doing some cool stuff with that. But yeah, reimbursements over the last 6 months have been really, really weird. If you guys haven't been doing your reimbursements on like the automated cases, like lost warehouse or damaged warehouse, I highly suggest you guys start doing that again, because in October, I think they released new automated reimbursements for those categories.
Yeah.
And every month thereafter, the amount of potential cases that you could file that they automatically filed has gone down. So they're like, it's like back down to a point where we're starting to generate that as like a legitimate like revenue stream for sellers because they're not automatically reimbursing.
Oh, shocker.
Right. Which
are we not actually doing what they said. Shocker. Because you guys even have a repricer part of Seller 365 too, right?
Yeah, the repricer has been our first invention in the sense that like this is the first product that we didn't acquire, that we built ourselves, that we now provide. It integrates directly into Inventory Lab. And I just got a nice message from someone over the weekend on Twitter telling me how she never would have considered using a repricer because it's generally expensive. But as a part of Inventory Lab, decided to try a smart repricer and was able to triple her sales in 2 days. And so getting these types of messages throughout and just making it more accessible, right? In general, software should be deflationary. It shouldn't be expensive. And so being able to provide that access to to sellers and see that type of experience has been super rewarding.
That's cool.
So what made you want to like start making softwares for sellers?
Yeah, I think the first time I even experienced this was when I was rolling out the API throughout Europe, and it was just like a growth engine for Amazon. The way Amazon saw API partners was that any seller that uses an API connected solution had sellers that had higher LTV to Amazon. That was Amazon's math. And so Amazon's like, yeah, we just want every seller to connect to like every software tool. Like, is effectively kind of like how they were thinking. It's like, bring in more software, get them to connect to certain things. And so I kind of saw kind of what Amazon was looking at. And so I was like, oh, wow, this seems like a pretty cool place to be in. And so that's why eventually I left to go out and fundraise and acquire software tools to then integrate. But that was the first time I kind of jumped into it. Up until then, I don't think I was thinking about it too much. I mean, I was explaining earlier on that I was actually super excited about working at a warehouse and being like using my hands. And so I definitely didn't expect to be on this side.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
That's
like,
awesome.
This is not what I thought I'd be when I'd grow up.
No,
100%.
But also, my husband always jokes, he's like, all the things you've done, like, made you, like, helped make you successful in this, though, you know? Like, it's just those life skills.
Yoda, if you don't know, Jen has been 1,001 things in her past life. I swear there's not a thing she has not done.
Pretty much.
Like, dang, what else?
I haven't ever been a waitress. I've never.
You've never been a waitress?
No. Like, that's probably like the only thing I haven't ever worked in fast food.
That was my number one thing. I will never work in fast food.
No.
Really? I actually worked for a catering company as like a waiter as my first job.
Okay.
I think it was like towards the tail end of high school into college. But yeah, that's the first job I had.
My first official job was telephone surveys.
Oh, you're one of those.
Wow.
I was one of those. But you know what? Okay, look, now I'm aging myself, you guys. Like, minimum wage at the time was $6.50. That job paid $12 an hour. And and they would hire you at 15. So I was 15 making $12 an hour. I didn't care how much you hung up on me. Yep. I could care less. I worked with some of the weirdest people, and we had like, it would do sometimes we had to call, we had yellow pages. We'd have to tear out the pages.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yellow pages is such a long, like, I remember flipping through the book and being like, oh, we need a plumber. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, for real. And it was
like an Instagram reel going around now, like, ask your kids what the yellow pages are, or what the white pages are. And they're like,
no idea.
Like, okay, we need to have a tutorial on this. Like, we are going to pause our episode for this week with Yoda, and we're going to pick up next week with part 3, the final part of our interview with him. I hope you guys are learning as much as we did during this interview, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.